So now after the bake, I've created this new project in Photoshop, and as you can see here I have my smooth folder and flat folder, and basically just drop all your maps into each folder. And now as you can see there's only normal map on smooth is enabled right now, and if I switch on the flat normal you can see the difference. And what is basically a flat normal? If we go back to Marmosets, so when you enable smooth cage, it means that the program tries to bake the normal map with all the normals from the faces, trying to wrap the object carefully and with smooth transitions. So you have this nice edge baked, but when you turn off smooth cage, so every normal from every face is going to be facing like in a perpendicular way, and so the flat surface is going to be baked perfectly. But when you have this transition between faces, like the UV shells, you will have this ugly hard edge over there. So the flat baking is good when you have these kind of details and they're perfectly portrayed, but you need to preserve that thing. So basically the way out is just a blend between those two. So if I turn off the flat one, I'll show you the example. Right, this is a trigger bolt right there, and you can see that when the baker tries to wrap the mesh with normals, it tries to it basically like bends those normals into direction of the transition between faces. So, and as the result you can see those baked in details a bit warped. So, but when you turn on the flat one you can see it's perfectly circle. So what I'm going to do is just to add a black mask onto this folder, fill it with black for now, and then I'm just going to select the white brush and just paint this area with white so that the edges are going to look good, while this baked in detail is going to be like from the flat bake. So, but before I do that, what I want to do is just to bake a grid. So go back to your mesh with the quads, not triangles. Go into UV. Image, UV snapshot, 4K. Let's set the set the path. Bakes. Call it grid. PNG. Save. Apply. I guess it did it. So now, yeah, we got it. So open it. Shift, drag into your canvas right there. Put it on the very top. And now we have our grid. This will help to navigate through the UV shells. I usually turn the opacity to 30 or something, so it's not that bright. And now what I want to do is just do the paints for uh, the flat normals. So whether I see a baked in detail, I just paint white on the folder mask. This is not necessary. Okay, so the perfect way is go through your Maya scene mesh by mesh, but there's not too much of things, so I guess I can cover all of those just like browsing through the map right there. Okay, this one. See how it changes. Okay. Same thing here. This is actually a hole. Should be round. Okay, this is the site. The rear site. Gotta fix this. You can see those like holes warped. Now they look good. So these guys are okay. Nothing changes over here. That's okay. That's good. So let's go on. Already did this one. Another hole over here. Right there. Make sure you don't touch the edge, because you can see it like affects too much this thing, and you will have a seam on the normal map when you apply it. Same story here. Right there as well, like this. So well, I guess that's it. That's pretty much it. Okay, so I usually save this Photoshop scene in the bakes folder, and it's called XD Bakes. Yep. So with this mask over here, it is really easy to switch between ambient occlusion or ID map. The mask works for all. This is really good and handy. So I guess this is pretty much it. Okay, now I will name this one grid and switch it off. Now let's save our XD normals. I usually save it in PNG so that 16-bit information is stored. Mode, you can see this, because the normal map looks much better in 16-bit. Takes it some time because it's 4K, pretty big one. Come on. Okay, so while it saves, the next step is going to be applying texture in Maya and seeing if it's all works here, and doing another small adjustment. So go to this one. I usually duplicate this folder and call it assemble right there. And this is going to be the final mesh. I think I'm going to merge all those guys together logically. So there will be a slide, a frame, all the moving parts will be in a separate mesh. And a few adjustments still are needed. Okay, we're saved. So let's go into Material Editor. Go into Low Mat. Go into Bump Normal Mapping. Click here. Select File. Select Tangent Space Normals. Go into here, File, and specify your map, which I just saved. So Eden Bakes, XD Normals, open, give it some time. Okay, and now you have this kind of artifact issue. So in order to fix this, I usually go into here and set it to raw, and here you go. Now it shows correctly. So now you can see the final result with normal maps in Maya. Looking nice. The one last thing I want to adjust is this part over here, because I need to have the cylinder a bit longer to cover this area right there. So let's just do that. And, right there. Can scale it just a bit. Turn off preserve UVs so that it will just stretch your maps right there. And I think I could go even higher, just a bit. Like this. Yep. Okay, yeah, now we look good. Now this thing pops out and this area looks clean. So now let's assemble all of those things together accordingly. So the frame. Let's select all the guys that are going to be with frame and they're not going to be moved. Okay, I need to disassemble this part because the trigger safety, the grip safety and the trigger, they are moving. So I want to detach those. And detach, clean history. Move out of the folder, delete the folder. Now we're talking. Okay, so now select the pins, select the plates, select this thing, right. Okay, same story here because I'm not going to move this guy. So delete this one. And select these. Right there. This one as well. Okay, what else? Well, I guess that's it for now. So combine it. Clear history, delete empty folders, and let's call it XD frame. All right, now I can hide it. So this is going to be a different one. This is going to be a magazine. Right there. Let's combine it. Call it XD mag. Okay. So another thing I want to do here is just to add some more rounds here. So duplicate this round and move it down. Right there. And another one. 3 will be good. Could move it right there. Okay, let's go with the 4th one. Right there. And in. So if I was working for the production or something, for the client, I would delete the bottom part of the round like this. I would delete this, but since I'm not, so I'll just keep it like there. Okay. So now let's combine these guys. These are XD rounds. Okay. So hide this. Got a slide up there. Okay, so let's select the slide, this guy, this guy, this one, this, and this one, and that's it. Combine it. Okay, this one is XD slide. Hide it. Whoops, I forgot the extractor. So combine these guys right there. Now hide it. Okay, this one is XD barrel. Hide. So I want to have those two separate. Turn off the symmetry. Right there. So this is mag release left. This is mag release right. Hide. This one is going to be XD lock open. This one is XD grip safe. Hide. This is going to be XD trigger. Right. And this is XD trigger safe, like this. Now we have proper names, proper groups. Okay, now this looks proper. And before I go into texturing, I want to create the markings for this gun and just prepare this mesh for texturing process. So what I usually do here is create a temporary duplicate of this thing, move it up, and just break it down. So move it this. Try to explode any piece like this, like that. Okay, general pieces are here. Now go into certain elements like this, like so. Okay. So that every part was separate, so that we could easily have access to any part, like that. Right there. Something like this. And another thing I want to do is duplicate this mag and put it in here and just move it right there, so that I could have another view on the mag. Okay. And another thing, let's do another duplicate of this and put it back in here. Move it right there, or somewhere like there. And now I want to place all the pieces into lock open position, somewhat like this. So the barrel is actually tilting, like so, when the gun cycles. Somewhat like this. Okay, so yeah. Now this thing is ready to be exported into Substance Painter. So as you can see, this is how it's going to be looking like when I import this into Substance. So like this is going to be my major reference, and I'll be painting on this. But when I need something to do something cleaner or to fix something, it's much easier to have access to every shape when it's on its own. So, and it's good. It's also good to have this representation of the locked open position of the gun. That's too far. Right there. Okay. Okay, so before we send this mesh into Substance, what you need to do is go to UV Editor, select all of these guys, and make sure you have all your shells, UV shells, are on your 0 to 1 UV space, because if you will keep those in here, you will not be able to paint in Substance on this mesh. So go select all the UV shells and move them one unit right, like so. Now we're good. And so now I usually select all of these guys, export selection, clean exp, and I call it for textures or for texturing. Make sure it's FBX, export, done. So when I export it, I just delete this guy. I don't need it anymore. So, okay. Okay, so now let's go into Substance Painter, which I have it right there. And let's create a new scene. Continue. Also, it will be good to save the ambient occlusion as well. PNG, XD, AO. Yep. So while it's saving, let's create a new scene. Let's select the file. CleanX for texturing. Select 4K. OpenGL because this is a default normal maps in Marmoset and in Maya. And now let's create one last map right there. XD ID map. Yep. Okay, it's saved. Okay, so now let's add these three. Click OK. Right there. So now let's just apply textures, go into texture set settings, select normal map. Here it is. Boom, we got it. Select occlusion map, same, boom. And ID map, okay. And like one last thing here is environment map. I usually use this one, which is called Tomoko Studio. And it's much more neutral in terms of colors, so it does not distort the color information. Another thing that I like to do is to go into viewer settings. First of all, set quality to medium or high. Okay, and I usually work in PBR spec gloss. And right, field of view. I like to use it like really like portrait lens. 25 degrees. It's much better. Okay. So now as you can see, when I'm going to texture, I have this nice visuals on here of the whole gun, here of the magazine, and here is everything else. Here's the cycling pistol, here's the details and every part, and here it is in assembled stage. So one last thing, well, no need for that for now. So let's save the scene. XD. For this purpose, I usually create new folder called maps and call it XD maps. So one last thing left before we go into textures is markings. Right there, you can see plenty of those here, and on the grip right there. So this is going to be pretty easy. What I'm going to do is just go into my Photoshop file, and I'm going to create this folder. Come on. This folder, we'll call it decals, and create a flat color, black, and a new folder which is going to be white. This will basically create a mask with the markings, and I'll just transfer this final look without the grid with all the white markings into my substance file, and I'll just use it as a height map to extrude those markings. And I think I will create a color map for these grip patterns. I think I will create the pattern inside of Substance, but before that I need to create a mask for all of those. So this is going to be a speed up process, and after that I will return and show how to create this kind of grippy pattern. And before we do that, I also have some preparations. So I have this logo here, this logo, and a font that looks quite the same as this marking font. So I'll be using these guys to make the masks. So I did my mask in Photoshop. Basically this is how it looks. If you turn on the grid, this is how it looks on the surface. So I just moved back and forth between Photoshop and Maya, and I have my UV space on my second monitor, and I just select the face that I want, and I see where it is and place the letter or any kind of marking there. So these were made with my font that I found on internet. This is a logo, and this thing was done with pen tool. So basically you just do any kind of shape and then just stroke path, select the tool and you stroke it. So this is how it's done. So now, right, and as you can see I have two folders right here. The one is mask 1, the second one is mask 2. These are for like this like stamped in like space for the marking. So I have this masks saved. Let's go into Substance Painter and let's import those. You can actually just drag them. I have my shelf on the second monitor, and let's just go here and go to bakes. Right, here are two masks, just drag them here. Select as texture and import them only to this project. Import. Okay, so let me put this here. Alright, so now let's create a new folder. It's gonna call decals. Create a fill layer, drop it in. And now let's add a black mask, add fill, and let's go with this mask here, just drag it there. Alright, now turn off everything except height and move it slightly, and here we got it. Okay, as you can see, this looks nice but too sharp. This is not a problem to fix. Just checking the position. Okay. Well, I don't really like this part over here, so I guess I'll edit it. So just go to eraser tool, select sharper mask, and just like try to do this. Same as here, and which one is the front part? Okay, so okay, so this thing is even flipped. Okay, so this is the problem area. Some sort of like this. Okay, so let's leave it like this, and let's turn on the clip and mask. Let's resave this. And one more thing. I need to flip this one because it's going to be upside down. Right. As you can see, I've changed this 5 number right there. So if you flip it, it's going to be 2. So it's pretty much symmetrical. And what I need to do here is just rotate it 180 degrees like this. Right, there's no need to, there was no need to flip it because you can read it both sides. Okay, that's good. So let's reload this guy, click reload, and drop it again. Yep, that fixed. Okay, so another thing what I want to do here is to change the sharpness of this thing. So I'll make it a bit deeper, and I'll add the filter, blur, right there, somewhat like this. And let's make it deeper, like this. Okay. Yeah, this looks okay. So now let's duplicate this layer and drop the first mask. Boom. Here we have the letters. The font is not 100% same as on the gun. To tell the truth, I was not aiming at 100% accuracy. You can see, okay, let's turn off the blur. Yeah, now it looks better. You can see this thing is flipped here. Let's change that. Rotate it 180 degrees and move it correctly. Okay. Somehow those letters are like tilting to the left. This is really weird, and this one as well, it's tilting to the right. So I guess I can fix this. So let's go to this subcompact and go to edit and skew. Yeah, like this. Let's do the contour, the opposite direction. Let's do this, and this one is tilting right just a bit, or not, I'm not sure. Okay, so let's keep it this way for now, and Springfield Armory should be a bit lower, and right there. Okay, so let's save this thing again. Mask 1. Go back to substance, reload. and change it here. Okay. And this solved the problem. You can see it's much more straight. It's like slight tilt to the left, but no, it's okay. I'll leave it like this. That's fine. So what I need to do now is to fix some things. For example, on the plastic parts, those letters should not go inward, they should go outward. So I'll move the shelf away for now. So let's call this markings plastic, like this, and mask them out. Just add a paint layer above it, and let's fill it black. Come on. Right. Just paint out things that you don't need. These are the things you don't need. Right there. Okay, and now change height to positive value. Right there. Okay, that's good. And I want to add just a bit of blur. Not that much, but just a bit. Because it's too sharp. You can manually type 1. Yeah, this looks good. So you can see also this trick over here. It's like 151,800. And it's like 008121. So the texture is flipped, though the numbers work on both sides. This is kind of trick. And I guess I want to make these numbers a bit thicker because they're too thin. And there is a way to do that. You can use levels. Yeah, this looks better, but it affects also this one. I don't need that. So again, duplicate it. Markings plastic low. This one's going to be high. So in paint layer, delete, paint out those that you don't need. Right there. So, and this one, turn off levels. No, here. Yeah. Now we're good. You can delete layer levels. You can go levels below the blur. Yeah, you can see this thing makes it thicker. You can add even more levels. Well, it's actually not changing that much, but it's better now. Okay. So, all right, now let's duplicate this guy again and call it markings metal. Delete the paint layer, delete the levels, and blur as well, and add a new paint layer and paint out these markings on the plastic. Now we have these guys. Okay, so these are too deep and they should be on opposite. Okay. What is this? Well, yeah, those are the artifacts after the compression of the texture. Whoa, no, it's actually not. Huh. Okay, what is this? Oh, it's, yeah, like that. Yeah, now we're good. And I want to blur it just a bit. Add filter, blur, because it's too sharp. .8 or even 0.1. Yeah, now we're talking. This looks better. Okay, so this looks much better now. Guess I could make it deeper just a bit. Yeah, I want to change this. This is tilting right too much. Yeah, this one. Edit, skew, and let's go just a bit like this. Hit enter. Let's resave this. Mask 1. And reload it in shelf and redrop it here. Yeah. Well, it's somewhere like in the middle. Compromise. It's not perfect, but it's fine. I don't want to edit every single number out there, so it's good. It's fine. So I guess we're done with all the markings. There's one last thing left, and this is this grippy pattern. So what I'm going to do now is just manually paint in Substance Painter all of those markings, and then redo those in Photoshop based on my mask, but with curves, which is going to be much more precise and nice looking. But for now, I'm going to use my reference. I'm going to go over here so that I would not affect anything else. Hide this. Let's make a new layer. Let's do the red color, black mask, and now let's paint. So since my model is flipped both sides, it will affect both sides. So let's do this rough representation of how it's gonna look like. It's not going to be 100% precise. Just pretending how it's gonna look like based on the reference, of course. This goes there. Okay, so this is fine. You can see it's on the both sides. Always check the reference. I'm not going to do this plate. I'm gonna leave it blank because this is symmetrical. So, but I'm going to do those grooves. And obviously I'm not going to do the marking saying grip zone. Like this. Okay. Nope. Like so. This looks okay. Okay. So now let's do the front part. So again, I'm not trying perfectly duplicate the original. This is not my purpose. If you want to do so, please do, no problem. This is cool. But I'm not that guy. I don't need that. The purpose of this asset for me is not 100% accuracy and replication, just quality works. So let's continue painting these guys. Okay. And I am kind of missed. Should go further. somewhere there. Okay. Okay, so this is pretty much it. Yeah, that's it for the markings. So what I want to do now is just export this mask I did just now. Control Shift E, and you can select your preset. We have this PBR spec gloss right there and a whole bunch of textures to export. So I'm not going to export ambient occlusion, specular level, scattering, emissive, height map, 4 maps. These are all that I need. So let's reselect it. Yeah, now we have 4 maps, 4K. Let's select the destination folder, maps, export. Okay. Now let's open this one here, which is XD flat albedo. No, right, we're in the base. I need to go to maps, diffuse, and here we go. This is what we need. So Control A, Control C. Let's create a new folder for mask 3, and paste it in. Let's check it out. Yep, pretty much there. And as you can see now, we have this one UV shell, one UV island, which will have all of these things. And this was a good thing to have, like, this UV shell as one piece. So it's much easier to make those shapes here. So right now I'm going to rebuild this pattern here using pen tool and nice curves, and then redrop it back into Substance in the same manner I did with the markings. So let's speed up at this point and see you after that.